I didn't read it in the beginning, I just deleted it all. Yesterday I stepped into it, listened to a little bit. Must be killing off the monks there.
There's almost no monks left in Yangon.
Well, it's maybe it's karma. 300 or 400 years ago, the Burmese soldiers dressed as monks and killed off all the people here in Thailand. That's why we actually shave our eyebrows. That's the reason why we shave our eyebrows. Normally it's not required to shave the eyebrows. But once they got the message, or they discovered that there were actually soldiers that coming in and killing off the people, then the king said, all the monks, all the Thai monks have to shave their eyebrows to be distinguished from the Burmese soldiers who dressed like monks. So it's probably their karma, now it's coming back on them. No, it's the same, probably the same chitta. Well, you are born into that place, that gives you the karma. People are born in countries, where it's difficult to live, or where they can meet the karma that they have done in the past. Like the Jewish, in the Second World War were born in Germany. Or now the Palestinians, or the Tibetan, anything. We cannot, we look at the world, and there's just injustice, we think it's so unjust. Everything is so unjust. But everything has its reason. And we never want to see it. Huh? We don't want to see that we are the sole cause for our own troubles. Wherever we are, if I'm going to be murdered, or if people, rob me off, or if people torture me, it's my karma. Now, of course, I can go to the world and say, look what they do unto me. But it wouldn't be there if I haven't done it in the first place.
At the same time, we're creating karma every moment, so isn't it important that we stop injustice at the same time?
We don't do injustice. But stopping injustice, it's easier than to stop your own karma. Because you have to actually go against these people, whoever they are. But to go against yourself is much more difficult. You stop first the injustice within yourself, and then you can stop the injustice outside of yourself. But we always go, and help other people because it's easier. We can tell them what to do, but we don't have to do it. We tell them, stop it. It's easy to say. Have you ever stopped your kilesas? You see how difficult it is? Or the force within you that makes you doing something. The people are forced the same way. The people who do injustice are forced, and the people, who fight against injustice are forced. So there's a never-ending fighting. When there will be justice? Only when everybody makes justice within his own heart. Doesn't mean, that when we are in vicinity, we don't help the people. But to go on the streets, and cry out, what's the use? We have to really consider. Helping other people, it's not wrong, it's good. But helping ourselves is the most important task. And it's the most difficult task. It is so easy to tell somebody, to stop. Stop, this is not right, this is against the international laws. Stop. or go and sit in peace, We have done it. It has brought a little bit. In Europe it has brought a little. The green movement and things like that has brought a little bit. But when I was in the peace movement, and I was in the later years, I was in a meeting, and I already took up the spiritual path, and I went with my friend there, and then I went at this gathering, and they all were crying, This people should make peace. This people should make peace. And then I just said to my friend, I think they should make peace first. We cannot ask other people, like Gandhi, we cannot ask other people what we don't have within ourselves. This is the most important thing. We cannot ask other people to behave nicely if we do not behave nicely. We cannot ask other people to stop their hate, if we still have hate within us. And you know how difficult it is to get rid of one's own hate and one's own greed. People are greedy, that's why they are born. People have hate, that's why they are born. So, is anybody here, who doesn't have greed and hate? As long as we still do have greed and hate, let's finish it up. That is the first question. How can we help other people? If we are all swimming in a deep pool of mud, and once in a while, we stick up our nose and then we see the other people suffering around us, and then we help them. By helping them up, to stick out their nose for a while, we drown. First get solid ground under your feet. Step out. Step out of the mud. And stepping out of the mud is compared in the spiritual path, or is in the Buddhist term, it's sotapanna. Stepping out. Having firm ground under your feet. But we only see this injustice. Actually, there's no injustice. This whole universe is perfect as it is. There's just the law. It's the law of karma that reigns everything. We don't want to see it, and we can't see it because this is the things that are within ourselves that we don't like. We don't want to see our own injustice. We don't see our own greed. We don't want to see our own hate. That's why we fight outside hate and outside greed. It's much easier to go out. And our chitta is prone to go out, not to go in. So you help the world more if you go inside and get rid of greed and hate. A person, the Lord Buddha said, an Arya Sat, is a benefit for the world. So, it's a benefit, it's a person that should be respected, it's a person that should be given things. That's the first person. And it starts with the Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and until Arahant. And the Arahant is the only one who understands all of it. Who understands the law of nature. Of course he does what he can do. What is in his possibilities. But if he doesn't have any abilities, he just has to look. Kanacha Mahabua has abilities, so he acts. But other arahants don't have abilities, so they don't act. They just don't have these. They don't have the influence, they don't have this, they don't have the power. Some of them are pretty lonely, some of them have a lot of people around. So when he started trying to help the nation, then the people got divided. His own disciples got divided about this issue. They thought he shouldn't. And there was fighting, and between the disciples of Dhamma Mahaprabhu. As long as we are blinded by greed and hate, how can we see, what is really injustice? And we have to always be aware of the thing that we are still blinded. So however bad it is, however bad it is in Burma, or in Tibet, but that is not there is no need, to push up the world, to go against another country. Because that is also karma. As good as the Dalai Lama is, but actually, he's producing a lot of hate towards China. So this is his karma. He wants Tibet to be free, he hasn't understood, it's karma. It makes people. Doesn't mean, one doesn't have to talk about these things. But to fight for it, it's wrong. It's a wrong cause. At least for a Buddhist, it's wrong. We do not fight. We only fight. If we fight, then we fight against greed and hate that are constantly arising within ourselves. That's what we fight. And then when greed and hate is gone, then we fight delusion. This is the only thing we fight. But remember, that doesn't mean that we should not help other people that are in our vicinity and that we can help. Don't look down and don't tell them, oh, that's your karma, just suffer it. No, that's not the way. Because that will be our karma in the future. That people look down on us and let us suffer. So we have to be very careful. Whatever we can do, we can do. And if you're living in the heart, if you reside within your own heart or within your own chitta, then at all times you will know what the right thing is to do. If there's a need to do something, or if there's no need. But that means we have to learn the language of the heart. We have to be able to be at the heart at all times. Not be pulled out by our thoughts and opinions and views. And think this is good or this is bad. Where is this good and bad coming from? Is there anything good or is there anything bad in this world? It's the way we view things as good and as bad. I told before, in one country, they think this is good, and in the other country they just think this is bad. So what is good and what is bad? If it's not within our own chitta. Just stay there and just stay inside. Don't be bothered about what other people are doing. As long as it's not in your immediate vicinity where you actually can help. Then you can help. And then you will know. And there's only one solution. Once a problem arises in the heart, or once something arises in the heart, being whatever, the solution immediately is there. But of course, we are trained, and all of us have been trained very successfully to stay outside, to stay with our thoughts, to stay with our opinions, to fight for our opinions, to fight for our views. See how much damage has the Christians done? Because of their views, they fight for God. How much damage have they done in the whole world? It's unimaginable. They killed people off just for their views, just for their opinions. They hid everything behind the view of God. Their own greed for gold or for this or for land or for this was all hidden behind Christianity. And it's the same thing with Muslims. They do the same thing. The Buddhists haven't done it yet. But if they go on like this, they will do it the same way. They hide their own stupidity behind a great teaching and make it for their own purposes. And that's where it all goes wrong. The moment there is nobody who practices religion truly anymore, then this religion has to go the wrong way. Because the understanding that we get from the books is just an understanding. It has nothing to do with the truth. The Lord Buddha teaches us the path to the truth. He doesn't teach us the truth itself, because we cannot grasp even the truth. What is the truth? We cannot grasp it. If we tried for the rest of our life, read all the books about Buddhism, we cannot even yet grasp the truth. We think it's this or we think it's that. The truth itself is changing every moment. And that's why we cannot grasp it. That's why we cannot understand it. It's never constant. If we understand that everything is changing, everything is not self, and then if we grasp, then this is dukkha. This comes much more closer to the truth. But the truth itself is yet beyond. It's beyond our capabilities of understanding. Samadhi is beyond our thoughts. Imagine, there's a whole world waiting for us. Or there are for people who have the abilities, there are other 35 realms to explore beyond the realm of thoughts. Once we stop our thoughts, then, if we have the abilities, we can go wherever we want to go. If we learn how to step out of the car, then we can walk even in the sideways, where the car cannot go. Or over the rough terrain where the car cannot go. Once a chitta steps out of the body, it can go anywhere it wants. But we are so attached to our thoughts and views and opinions that we don't dare to go. We don't dare to go. In the moment before we are going to ending the death, I'm going to die, will hold us back. Or I'm afraid of what is coming. Hold us back. Or this cannot be right. Hold us back. Just a little thought. Or we are even close to samadhi. Holds us back. Go beyond the world of thoughts. And just let them. Don't worry, they come back. Sooner than we want. As long as we have these 5 khandhas, they're still working. But we just find, like we have a radio, we can turn it on and we can turn it off. That doesn't mean, when we turn it off, the radio is broken down. We can turn it on again. And with our khandhas, they certainly turn on by itself. And they turn on sooner than we want. You know what the 5 khandhas are. It's the body, it's feeling, it's memory and associations, it's thinking and consciousness. They won't give us a peace. They won't give us a rest unless we force it. Unless we really force it down. We have to want it. We can do it. We can do it. We can really do it. But we have to put some effort into it. And some determination. Not to follow these thoughts that constantly come up. Not to follow our views and opinions. We set our day from the moment we open our eyes to stay with the Buddha or to stay with the breath. And that's it. And then we know. everything else. Then we have to eat a little bit, that's fine. And then we have to wash ourselves, and then we have to clean up the kuti or sweep around the kuti. That's it. Nothing else. And the rest of the time it just stays. We hold on to this Buddha like it is our mainstay, like it is our only lifesaver. When you're in high tides, you don't let go of the plank you have. So why do you let go? Why do you let go of Buddha? Just because this thought comes in, or that thought comes in, or this view comes in, or that opinion comes in, that tells you, oh, I'm sick, or now it's heavily raining, or now it's hot, and just keeps you away. Instead of thinking this, or the moment you realize your mind has gone out, just bring it back. Just bring it back. Slightly push it back to the object of observation. And you can do it. There's no way. If I can do it, you can do it. Kanacha Mahabodhi could do it. And a lot of monks around here can do it. It's not so that our Western mind is completely unable to do it. That's what they tell us in the West. You cannot do it. The Western mind cannot do it. Who is saying so? People who have never tried it, or who find it too difficult to try. And then people come up, here in Thailand, then they don't say this, but they say, it's dangerous. You can get crazy. You can only get crazy if you don't follow the rules. If you stay with the word Buddha, how can you get crazy? But if you constantly think about to get crazy, then of course you will get crazy. Craziness just means not being able to let go of your thoughts. They turn around and then suddenly get a momentum, and then you're really off the track. But if you stop your thinking, how can you get crazy? What is becoming crazy anyway? There's nothing to become crazy. Only non-stopping thoughts are crazy. So how can you get crazy? So understand this clearly. Sometimes you need to force it. Sometimes you need to force it. Really to force it. Buddha, 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 Buddha. And sometimes you have to let go. Just stay with the Buddha. And then observe the quality. Once the kilesas are getting overhand, then you have to force it again. It's like a dance on the rope. You constantly have to balance. Either going to the left or to the right. So either to push it a little bit or to let go. It's riding the horse. Ride the horse of meditation. If you constantly force the horse, it will throw you off. And you might break your neck. But if you just go with it, and once you see the horse is going the wrong direction, then you give it a push. As long as when it goes in the right direction, then you let go. So it's not constantly forced. If you constantly, or if you're too determined to force the object upon us, then we get happy. We see it. We immediately notice something is going wrong. And then we let go. Observe. It's important to observe the quality of the object. And of course it gets boring. But boring is a thought. Everything gets boring. If one listens to my talks for over a year, one gets bored with it, because I always say the same thing. And if one listens to the 600 or 700 talks Tanacha Mahabodhi gives to the monks from what was it, 2504 till 2050, there are over 600 or 700 talks. One gets bored, because he always says the same thing. There's not much that we have to understand. I told you before, there's not much that we have to understand. But to be able, when you listen to the talk, now it's getting really noisy. If you listen to the talk, to be able to stay right here in the heart. And once, when you stay right here in your heart, you close your eyes and stay in the heart and listen how the words of the speaker turn up within your own heart. Then you listen with your heart. The moment he says it, you know it already what he's going to say. Then you're really at the point. Then you're really at the heart. But of course, if you look at the speaker and see how the words are flowing out of his mouth, you will never get there. It's impossible to get there. So train it. This ability of staying in the heart or staying in the chitta and just not going out. Then you will notice everything that you need to know. We are so afraid, when we are blind, because we don't see. But we are blind. Even if we have our eyes open, we are blind. We don't see. We see the things that we want and we see the things that we dislike. And that pushes up even more. When we close our eyes and we close our ears and we just concentrate on the chitta, everything becomes very quiet and everything becomes happy. And there's no question coming. The moment a problem arises, the answer or the solution to it is there as well. So what to worry about? There's nothing to worry about. Get there. Do it, do your best. And do whatever it takes. And just do a little bit more. If you train yourself, like I train myself, just every day a little bit more. In the end, you just do practice. And you're not concerned about it. Then the practice becomes automatic. You're not even interested about what the world is going on. If Germany has now a chancellor or a female chancellor or a male chancellor, it doesn't matter. They're still in trouble. If the world is on war, you cannot change it anyway. But you can change whatever arises within your heart. And you just can stay with it and see the peacefulness of the heart itself. If the heart doesn't go out, and if the kleshas don't stir up trouble, it's just peaceful in itself. Just go there, rest for a while, and then go out and get rid, or investigate the roots that stir up all this trouble. And then kill them off. The basic settings of this monastery, or the basic setting of practice, is helping us to focus, or constantly focus on what is going on. So we have our basic setup. It's very easy. And then everything that goes against this setup, it's a kilesa. The kilesas think, this is important. I have to call my mother, I have to call my brother, or I have to go and fight with the Burmese people. Yeah. They love to do this. They even, they don't even take care of their own lives when they do it. They fight for freedom in South America or wherever. They fight for freedom, giving up their own lives. But when they have to sit on the cushion, the moment they have to give up their own lives, they go. See how more difficult it is. Even if a little pain is coming in. If we fight for external freedom, we do everything that we can do. We give everything that we have. But when when we do our practice, the little pain or little discomfort makes us giving up. Why? Let's not be freedom fighters in the world. Be freedom fighters within our own heart. Okay? And now, with that I stop.